Hi, I'm Dorothy. The day that changed everything for me started just like any other. I decided to surprise my kids with an early pickup from school, and we were all laughing and joking as we walked through the door. But the laughter stopped the moment we stepped into the living room. There she was, a woman I had never seen before, sitting comfortably as if she owned the place. Beside her was a little boy, maybe 4 years old. "Can I help you?" I asked, confused as my kids clung to me, sensing the tension. The woman stood up, smoothing her dress. "I'm Linda, and you must be Dorothy. I've heard so much about you," she said with a smile that sent a chill down my spine. "Why would you be talking about me?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady as my heart raced. While she replied, a smirk playing on her lips, "Because we have something in common. Your husband. My lover. And this," she gestured to the boy, "is our son." It felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. "That's impossible. My husband would never." But even as I spoke, the pieces started to fit together. The late nights, the unexplained absences, the secrecy. I felt sick. Just then, my husband walked in. The look on his face said it all. He knew he'd been caught. "Dorothy, I can explain," he started, but I held up my hand to stop him. "Don't. Just don't. How could you do this to us, to our family?" He looked at the floor, unable to meet my eyes. "I never meant for you to find out this way." "Find out?" I laughed bitterly. "So you were just going to keep this a secret forever? What were you thinking?" "I don't know. He trailed off, unable to find the words. The kids were watching us, their eyes wide. I knew I had to be strong for them. I turned back to Linda. "You need to leave. Now." Linda scoffed. "I'm not going anywhere. He promised he'd take care of us." "That's not my problem," I said firmly. "You need to leave my house." There was a tense standoff, a moment where no one moved. Then my husband spoke up. "Maybe we can work something out. Linda, give us a moment." Linda and her son left the room, and my husband turned to me. "Dorothy, please, let's talk about this." But I heard enough. "There's nothing to talk about. You've made your choice, and now I'm making mine. We're leaving." I gathered our things, ushering the kids out of the house. They were full of questions, but I had no answers for them, not yet. As we drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror at the life I was leaving behind. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but I knew it was the only choice I had. A few months passed since the day I walked away from my old life. My kids and I were now in a small but cozy apartment in a new neighborhood, starting fresh. The adjustment was tough, not just for me but for the kids too. They missed their dad, but they were resilient, just like their mom. One evening, after a long day of juggling work and the kids, I finally got them to bed. That's when my phone rang. It was him, my ex-husband. "Dorothy, please, just hear me out." "There's nothing left to say," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "I made a mistake, a huge mistake. I want to make things right." "Right? How can you possibly make this right?" "I miss you and the kids. I'm a mess without you. That's not my problem anymore. You made your choice." "Dorothy, I'm sorry. I really am." "Sorry doesn't change what you did. Sorry doesn't fix our family." He was silent for a moment. "Can I at least see the kids?" I took a deep breath. "I don't want you near us. Not now, maybe not ever." He let out a long sigh. "Okay, I respect that. Just, if you change your mind." "I won't." I hung up the phone, my hands shaking. It wasn't easy, but I had to be strong for me and for my kids. The next day, I was at the grocery store with the kids when my phone buzzed. It was a text from him. I quickly put the phone away, not wanting to read it. "Mommy, are we going to see Daddy soon?" my youngest asked, tugging at my sleeve. I knelt down to their level. "Not for a while, sweetie, but we have each other, right?" They nodded, though I could see the sadness in their eyes. We continued our shopping, trying to keep things as normal as possible, but nothing about our lives was normal anymore. The days turned into weeks, and slowly, we started to find our rhythm. I was working 2 jobs to make ends meet, and every day was a struggle. But we were surviving. But I was managing. The kids were doing well in school, making new friends, and starting to smile more. One afternoon, after picking them up from school, we found a letter slipped under our door. It was from him, a long apology filled with promises and pleas for forgiveness. I read it, then tore it up and threw it away. That evening, I sat down with the kids. "Your dad sent a letter. He's sorry for what he did." "Do you forgive him?" my oldest asked, looking up at me with curious eyes. I sighed. It's not that simple. What he did hurt us a lot. Forgiving him won't change what happened. They nodded, understanding more than I gave them credit for. As the weeks turned into months, I found strength I never knew I had. I was more than just a betrayed wife. I was a survivor, a fighter, a mother who would do anything for her kids. No matter what life threw at us, I knew we would make it through together. A year flew by, and life settled into a new normal. I had worked tirelessly, and it paid off. I was promoted at work, a recognition that felt like a small victory in my larger battle. One crisp autumn morning, as I was dropping the kids off at school, my colleague Jenna called. "Dorothy, have you heard the latest about your ex?" "No, and I don't care to." "Well, he's in a bad spot. Linda left him, and he's drowning in debt." I paused, taking a moment. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Still, it must feel like some kind of justice, right? I'm more focused on my own life, Jenna. We hung up, but her words lingered in my mind. Despite everything, I couldn't help but feel a pang of something, not pity, maybe just the remnants of a life I once thought I'd have. The day went on, and I immersed myself in work. My kids were thriving too, making friends, excelling in school. It seemed we were all doing better, moving on. Then came the school's annual fall festival. The kids were excited, dressed in their costumes, and buzzing with energy. We were enjoying a puppet show when I felt a tap on my shoulder. It was him, my ex-husband. "Can we talk?" I took a deep breath. "Not here, not now. I just want to see the kids. I've missed so much." "They're doing fine, better than fine, actually. I know I messed up, but I want to make things right." "Making things right doesn't mean you get to walk back into their lives like nothing happened." He looked down, defeated. "I'm their father, Dorothy. I have a right to see them. You lost that right when you decided to have another family." We were interrupted by the kids running over, excited to show me their crafts. "Mommy, look what I made." I smiled at them, my heart swelling with love. "It's wonderful, sweetie." As they ran off to play more games, he lingered, watching them. Seeing them like this, happy and healthy, it's all I wanted. I turned to him. "They are happy and healthy because I made sure of it, because I picked up the pieces you left behind." He nodded, understanding the unspoken message. "If you ever change your mind—" "I won't." He left then, disappearing into the crowd. I watched him go, feeling a sense of closure. My children's laughter pulled me back to the moment, to the life I had fought so hard to rebuild. We spent the rest of the evening enjoying the festival, the joy on their faces a reminder of how far we'd come. That night, as I tucked them into bed, I realized that our journey hadn't been easy, but it had brought us to a place of peace and happiness. A place we had created, just us. And that was all that mattered. 2 years passed since I turned the page on a chapter of my life filled with betrayal and hurt. In its place, I had written a new story, one where my children and I were the main characters, living a life of stability, happiness, and growth. I had become something of a role model in my community, often speaking at events to inspire other single mothers. It was at one such event, a sunny Saturday afternoon at a community gathering, where I was sharing my story with a group of women. We were all exchanging our struggles and triumphs. "Just remember, ladies, our strength is in our resilience. We can, and we will, overcome anything." The women nodded, some wiping away tears, others smiling in solidarity. It was a powerful moment, one that reminded me of how far I'd come. After the talk, as I was mingling with the attendees, I noticed him in the crowd, my ex-husband, looking older and wearier than I remembered. He approached me hesitantly. "Dorothy, can we talk?" I excused myself from the group and turned to face him. "You look good. You all look really good." "Thanks, we are good. I've been wanting to talk to you. I've changed, Dorothy, really changed. Change is good. It's necessary. I know I can't undo the past, but I want to be part of your and the kids' lives again." I took a moment, letting his words sink in. "It's too late for that. We've moved on, the kids and I. We're happy. I know I don't deserve a second chance, but I'm asking for one anyway. Your choices have consequences. We're living ours, and you need to live yours." He looked down, a mix of regret and acceptance in his eyes. "I'm sorry, Dorothy, truly sorry." "Your apology is noted, but it doesn't change anything. Our lives are our own now, and they're good, really good." He nodded slowly, understanding the finality in my words. I hope you find peace, Dorothy. You and the kids deserve it. We already have. Goodbye. As he walked away, I felt a deep sense of closure, a final confirmation that I had made the right decision for me and my children. I turned back to the group of women, my heart full of gratitude for the life we had built. Later that evening, as I celebrated our journey with my children, I realized that this was our triumph, not just mine, but ours. We have faced adversity and come out stronger on the other side. We had found happiness and peace. Peace in our own little world, a world we had created together. Mom, are we going to do something fun tonight? My youngest asked, pulling me back to the present. Absolutely. How about a movie night with popcorn? Their cheers filled the room, and as we settled down to watch a movie, I looked at their faces, lit up with excitement and joy. This was my victory, our victory. A life rebuilt on our terms, full of love, strength, and endless possibilities. The story of Dorothy's journey has come to an end. Her resilience and determination led her to a new life of independence and happiness. But here's a thought-provoking question for you. Do you think Dorothy should have given her ex-husband a chance to be part of her and their children's lives again? Or was her decision to move on without him the right one? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.